What's up, y'all? It's Henry from the PSI Defense Channel coming to you with another video. This is a fan request video about how I do my follower modification to shoot HP68s without, minimalizing jamming. Because like I said in one of my previous videos, even firearms aren't immune to jamming. I mean, I've even had Jewel V2s jam. It's such a precise orchestration of moving mechanical parts. There are things that can happen that can cause jamming. You just want to negate as many possible causes for jamming as you possibly can. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to go ahead and take this follower. This is out of FSC. And all I'm going to need is this follower and this flat file. And in the sake of time, I'm probably going to use my Dremel, but if you don't have a Dremel, don't worry about it. Just need a flat follower. Alright, so I have this tool for the Dremel. I have been having some great success with it for modifying parts. The Grimburg Aurora front end, sometimes depending on what barrel you're using, it's a little tight going in that hole. I've used this to ream it out a little bit, to modify magazines and things like that. It takes off quite a bit of material. So I'm just going to, not that I'm recommending this, I'm actually recommending the flat file because it really doesn't take all that long. However, I've just had success with dremeling, but if you don't have a sleight hand, you always want to err on the side of caution, because once you've gone too far, you can't add material back onto it. You've just ruined a follower. Followers aren't really a common thing to have spares of. I just happen to have a ton of spare followers. Right, there we go. So what you want to do, you want to disassemble your follower. So the way you do that, I suppose you can get a really skinny, I suppose you can get a really skinny screwdriver in there, but what I use is this pick. Actually, get down in there and try to push that little bulb in, or the little notch that's holding it inside of that hole. I just leverage it up and it pops it out. Yeah, be careful, it is plastic. Oh wow, okay. So I actually had a previous mod in here where I was trying to get Z-rams to work, where I put that little bit of dried hot glue in there. So that's why I had another spring hanging around, but hold on, let me get another one, because I am going to double up the spring. I have the spring that goes inside the follower. I'm going to double that spring up. All right, found a big pile of followers. So I'm going to say while I'm here, I'm going to do them all. As you guys can see, the First Strike FSC follower, T8.1, T9.1 follower. Come on. Has that angle, okay? There we go. Has that angle. So the flat surface of the HP68 tends to get cocked up like that. Now suppose that lends itself okay to First Strike rounds. Round ball rounds may have a minimal effect, but with HPs, you see there's that little round hump there, falls in there. So what I found with the follower of the VKS flat. Not only was it flat, but it had this curve in there. Now let me show you. Just straight up and down. Holds HPs perfectly. And a little spring tension to get the last round up into the breech good enough. See that? Because this is for the FSC, this is for the VKS. The VKS are primarily designed to shoot VXR rounds for the police department. So I have not had a single jam with the HP68 because it loads straight into the breech, presses all the way up to the top of the breech, is aligned against the detents. That way when the bolt goes forward, fires out without jamming. Now, for your FSCs, when it's up at an angle, what happens is at high velocity and at these high pressures, our modified launchers, FSCs and such, go into the breech at this angle, and then when the bolt comes and hits it, it gets cocked up against the breech opening, and that's where your jam happens. So that's why the FSC or the VKS follower doesn't have that issue. That's straight across the top. Now we can't compensate for that little divot. I haven't found the need to. We just need to get rid of that ramp. So you see that? Where this low spot is, you need to file it down to that and go straight across. So, where's the one I took apart? Alright. So when you take the rear cap off, be careful because it's spring loaded. That's going to pop off. This is going to slide out, and this is what actually pushes you around into the follower. It has that ramp. So typically I'll take my flat file on a flat table and just hold it straight up and down so that way I can get a flat plane without much angle at all and continue to do that. But since I have a steady hand and I'm really good at dremeling, okay, so if you're dremeling, I'm just lightly starting at this top edge. I'm just dragging it across, kind of like a CNC lathe would do, just taking a few microns at a time. So I'm going to hold this down here. Okay, and then I'm turning it. You see, I'm already almost flat. Turning it at every angle, making sure I have a great flat surface so that my HPs get shoved up in there at the right angle. Okay, so looking at it here, it's got a little slope there. Seems pretty flat. Okay, there's a little slope there, so. Okay, it's enough of the heavy lifting for the Dremel, so now I'm going to take my flat file, lay it on top of a box, and just go across it almost like it was a cheese grater or something, just to get it nice and flat. I thought about trying to do a concave channel like the VKS follower there, but as I looked at it and tried, because this bit on my Dremel is round, but without measuring it or without being precise, you'll cause more troubles with alignment in your breech than you could possibly compensate for by hand. Just a little bit more hand filing. Okay. I believe I got it nice and flat. Okay, there's the side. That's the profile. So, yeah, I could spend all day really trying to get it perfect, which you should, but I'm not going to spend all this video trying to get it perfect. Yeah, because that's a lot flatter than we started out. Okay. Side profile, side profile. See the difference? All right. Yeah. All right. That'll do. So you take your follower guts. Got some goop in here, probably some broken paint or something. So I'm going to clean that out. Okay. All right. Just insert that back in there. What you want to do to get that double spring, it's really simple. Okay, so I just take the spring and combine it side by side. If you don't have two springs, you can put some kind of shim in there, maybe some kind of small piece of plastic, chop a piece off, jam it down in there for you to use as a shim. I'm just double springing it. Snap the lid back on, line up the little holes, little pinholes. Boom, there we go. A lot more spring tension. There is your modified follower. And I recommend shooting a whole lot of HP68s with this follower so you can get your confidence up. You know, because one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to have something that you are depending on to defend your household, your family, and your loved ones, and risk the potential of having a jam. I have shot, I don't know, I have shot a whole lot of HP68s with this modification, and I am very happy at very high power at 60, 70 joules, and I am confident enough to have HPs in my markers that I have around the house and confident enough that they'll function when I need them to. Um, Highly recommend that you not only practice whether you're using CO2 piercing your launchers, activating your launchers, shouldering them and turning on your lasers and lights and optics so that way muscle memory kicks in. If you ever have an emergency where you need to use them, you don't have to think. Muscle memory will kick in. You'll charge it with whichever means you need to charge it. You can get familiar with it. If you do incur a jam, then you know how to rectify that swiftly and efficiently so that you can be back up and ready to fire downrange. Joules tend to be the safest bet. However, with this modification, I have fallen back in love with the HP68. HP68s get a lot more power ballistically. They do a lot more penetrating. They have this cupped back end, which captures some of the pressure, helps it expel down the barrel. Um, really shaped rounds are the only rounds that will take advantage of having a rifled barrel. If you're shooting round ball, there's no need to have a rifled barrel because you're just getting blow by for no reason. Might as well get a smoothbore barrel, 686, 684, 5, maybe a freak barrel, something along those lines. But if you want distance and accuracy, then you're going to want a shape projectile and you're going to want a rifle barrel. These also fire through smoothbore barrels just fine as well, but rifling will put that spin on it, laser pinpoint accuracy, hard hitting, very accurate, penetrating, and this is a very simple and relatively free mod that you can do that will take you less than 5 minutes. So even if you don't do the double spring, the main part is that it's flat right there, that you are not getting this angle. Because see, even if you don't have the double spring and it's pressed down, still going to have that flat surface. It's not going to wobble. It's going to push up into your breech flat. Your bolt can engage with no problems. There you go. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate all the support. Make sure you show some love today, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out.